Good morning. I was excited when I saw the theme to this service, prayer, a holy conversation, because prayer is something that I'm very passionate about. But I was disappointed because I really wanted to find a good video that talked about prayer. And every single video that I could find was about our side of prayer, about how to pray your way out of financial struggles and pray the demons out of your life and pray yourself back to health and 5 steps to praying and these are the things you need to say. And not a single one talked about listening and about the God side of prayer. And I was really disappointed and kind of sad for my waste of time watching videos. So then I looked for a video that just showed images of different cultures praying, because I taught Sunday school for quite a few years before I came here, and one of my favorite things to do was during prayer time, either opening or ending, we would have different postures. So, of course, there's this one, and the kids always were like, and making funny faces when we did it, and then there's the very solemn ones, and then the ones on our knees, and the holding hands, which is always fun with teenagers who are like, ew, don't touch me. And so that was kind of what I was looking for, and I didn't really find that either. But I did remember a story, and this story I had heard when I was little, and when I have been conversing with other people about prayer, this is a story that always comes to mind. So I wanted to share it with you, to kind of have you think about, and then also have for when you have those discussions about prayer, because you will. Whether it is with non-believers or with believers. I've had several people say, how does God speak to you? How do you know that he's listening? What do you say? My favorite was one of my best friends growing up. I used this story as an example and said, just talk to him like he's your friend. And she started praying, and man, the cuss words that came out of her mouth, I just stopped and was like, hold on a second. He's not that kind of friend. It's like an adult friend. Like, don't talk like that. And she's like, well, you said I could say whatever I want. And I was like, well, my grandma said I'd get struck by lightning if stuff like that happened. And I'm sitting very close to you right now. So the story is why this chair is here. It's called Daddy's Empty Chair. A man's daughter had asked the local minister to come and pray with her father. When the minister arrived, he found the man lying in bed with his head propped up on 2 pillows. An empty chair sat beside him. The minister assumed the old fellow had been informed of his visit. I guess you were expecting me, he said. No. Who are you? The minister told him his name and then remarked, I saw the empty chair and I figured you knew I was going to show up. Oh yeah, the chair, said the bedridden man. Would you mind closing the door? Puzzled, the minister shut the door. I've never told anyone this before, not even my daughter, said the man, but all my life I have never known how to pray. At church, I used to hear the pastor talk about prayer, but it went right over my head. I abandoned any attempt at prayer until one day, 4 years ago, my friend told me that prayer was just like having a conversation with Jesus. He told me to sit down, place an empty chair in front of me, and then in faith, see Jesus in the chair. It's not spooky because he promised, I will always be with you. Then just speak to him. So I tried it, and I've liked it so much that I do it a couple hours every day. I'm careful though. If my daughter saw me talking to an empty chair, she'd either have a nervous breakdown or send me off to the funny farm. The minister was deeply moved by the story and encouraged the old man to continue on the journey. Then he prayed with him and returned to the church. 2 nights later, the daughter called to tell the minister that her daddy had died that afternoon. Did he die in peace, he asked. Yes, about 2 o'clock. He called me over to his bedside, told me he loved me and kissed me on the cheek. When I got back from the store an hour later, I found he had passed away, but there was something strange about his death. Apparently, just before Daddy died, he leaned over and rested his head on the chair beside the bed. What do you make of that? The minister wiped a tear from his eyes and said, I wish we could all go like that. When thinking about a conversation, I think that this is a beautiful example. And it's not just about the speaking, but also about the listening. I personally believe that God is speaking to us every second of our lives, but it's not always in words. Sometimes it's images. Sometimes it's the phone call of a friend. Sometimes it's a flower somebody gives you out of love. But God is always reaching out to us. And it is simply our job to listen and to respond. And He does care about every single one of our needs, from the smallest, tiniest splinter to the huge life-changing decisions. With that being said, I found this prayer for peace from July 14th, and I would like us to do that now. During this time, there will be pauses. You'll know I'm over when I say amen. But until then, during the quiet moments, if you can listen to the silence, listen for God. Listen for what He has to say to you today. If you'll pray with me. Radiant God, we come into your presence grateful for the light you have brought into the world. Breathe your Spirit into our beings. May the love shine from within us as evidence that you continue to bless your creation with possibility and peace. Illuminating One, as we experience that light within us, help us radiate your love and light to those around us. May our friends, families, co-workers, and neighbors become aware of your light that emanates from within them as well, redeeming brokenness and creating peace. Light of the world, extend ever-increasing brightness within this circle of self and friends to those who live all around the world. We remember all nations. In places of darkness and hopelessness, may rays of your saving light break through and provide the way to hope and peace. Holy One, who created darkness and light, bless all your creation with the energy your light produces. Continue to sustain all forms of life, seen and unseen, for the wellness of your beloved creation. May the entire earth be at peace. May the one who spoke light into darkness and substance out of the void hear our prayers. May the circle of light in which we live be enlarged to encompass all that was and is and will be. In Jesus' name, amen.